What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We in the house. Mindset Mondays. Project Elevation. We gonna keep this thing rolling. What's up, everybody? Check on in. Check on in. It's 7 p.m. A few people a second to come on in. Mindset Monday. Yeah. We're going to get started here in just a second. This is Mindset Monday. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Let's go. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? This your boy KC back at you again with another Mindset Monday. Project Elevation still in full swing. What's going on? We on the Mindset Shift series of Project Elevation. This is designed for anyone who wants to go to the next level, anybody who is stuck and bound and know that they're worth more and know that they have meaning and purpose in their life. This is the broadcast for you. This is episode number 4 of the Mindset Shift broadcast. This is your boy KC. We back with another one. This week's topic, we gonna hit them hard, y'all. We talking about mindset shift. We talking about changing, elevating, and moving to the next level. But it all starts with faith. It all starts with mindset shift. It all starts right there. So let's go, y'all. What is going on? Happy Monday. Happy Mindset Monday. I hope everybody had a productive day. We are back with another episode. This is number 4 of the Mindset Shift series of the Project Elevation movement, y'all. We gonna keep this thing rolling each and every Monday at 7 p.m. where we go over topics that help in mind building, personal development, and self-mastery to get you to the next level and create a new version of you. So here we go, y'all. What's going on? This your boy KC. I'm back at you again. And we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to have a little discussion. We talking about faith and we talking about mindset shift, you know? So this is day 24 of November. I'm still in my Project Elevation Challenge where I've been doing my cycling. And as everybody know that last month I did 275 miles. And that was something new for me. I felt great doing it. I enjoyed doing it. And it was a milestone. Whoever thought that somebody like me who been through everything I've been through in life or whatever's going on, that I would resort to something like this. But it all started with a mindset shift. In 2018, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I was overweight, and everybody know my biggest weight was 383 pounds, and I vowed to lose weight. It's been a journey. I've been going through a lot trying to reach my goals. I had setbacks, daily habits and life habits that has been plaguing me throughout the years. And I moved to South Carolina in 2020. Things have been changing in my life ever since then, going for the better. But yet it's still been a struggle with my weight and my diabetes. But it all took a mindset shift. I got one day, I just said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of being this way. And I took a mindset shift. I had to control my mind and some of the things that I was doing that was really hindering me from growing in life, habits, obstacles, you name it. I done been through it, and it took a mindset shift, and it took that much of faith, which helped me grow and change my life for the better. Like I said, I did 275 miles riding, cycling, last month in the month of October, and I vowed that this month that I would do more. I pushed for 350 miles for this month of November. And guess what, y'all? This is day number 24, and I have 343.7 miles in the books, and my goal was 350. So guess what? We gonna up the goal now. 350 was the goal for November, and I'm 7 miles, just a little over 6 miles away from reaching my goal of 350 miles for the month. And guess what? Like I say, I'm 6 miles, a little over 6 miles away from reaching that goal. But guess what, y'all? The mindset shifted again, because guess what? I'm not finished. Day number 24, and I took it easy a couple of days. I could have reached the goal. I could have reached the goal Saturday if I wanted to, but guess what? The devil's been working, and he knew that I had a goal of 350, and he tried to step in. My bike kind of broke down on me in the trail the other day. The spokes, it was breaking spokes, and tire got wobbly, so I had to get off and walk it back. That was 8 miles that I didn't do riding. I had to walk back all the way from where I was out riding with the wife. And hey, listen, the devil tried to stop me, but he ain't gonna stop me, because I got the bike fixed the same day, got back out the next day, and put the miles on. I'm a little over 6 miles away from 350, but guess what? We gonna turn it up. We going to 4. Listen, this is a milestone for me. I never thought that I'd be doing nothing like this, and it is great. It feels great to be able to do the things that I'm doing now after having all of these ailments of late, dealing with this diabetes. But the boy is back better than ever. I'm back better than ever. We pushing for 400 miles on the bike for this month of November. I got 56 miles to go, and I will reach a 400-mile goal for the month of November. Never before seen, never before done by me, and this is my first time, and I'm gonna celebrate, and I need all y'all to celebrate with me. This is Project Elevation, and I'm elevating, moving to the next level. And guess what? It all started with a mindset shift. I wouldn't have been able to do it without a mindset shift. So, this is what we doing. This is what we gonna do. And this is Project Elevation. And this is how you mindset shift. So listen, we gonna push for the 400 miles. I'm gonna keep y'all posted, let y'all know. I'm gonna go out for a ride tomorrow, and I'm gonna get those miles in, and we gonna conquer this thing. 400, baby. Yes. So this week's episode, we talking about mindset shift in full. Okay. Mindset shift in full. We gonna get this thing. We gonna break it down. And you know how I like to break it down. I take a scripture from the Bible and I tie it into today's topic. And today's Bible verse is the woman with the issue of blood. Right? And we're going to talk about how that turns into mindset shifting. The woman with the issue of blood. So we're going to start out in, it was in 3 scriptures in the Bible. It was in Mark chapter 5, 25 through 26, where they talked about how she was the bleeding woman for 12 years. She had a chronic, exhausting, life-draining condition. She had, under the Jewish law, she couldn't touch anybody. She was considered unclean. So she was socially isolated. She couldn't worship at the temples. She couldn't touch anybody. Anybody that she touched became unclean. So you see how her life was, turning around socially. She couldn't have relationships. She was isolated from everything. She couldn't worship at the temples and everything like that. So her life was bad off, because for 12 years she had became a massive bleeder, and she couldn't go out. She couldn't do anything. So, she was she was isolated from everything. So she was a saddened woman, and she spent all her money, all her life savings, everything to try to get this thing resolved. Doctors, telling her, it ain't much that we can do, but hey, if you try this, at this cost, this may work, that may work. She tried everything and nothing will work. So, this shows that a long-term struggle can drain your body of your resources and your hope. And that's what it almost had her to do. It drained her body. It almost drained her of her resources because she spent the money to do everything that she felt that she could do to try to alleviate this problem. It could have destroyed her hope, but some issues, they go beyond human solutions. Only Jesus can fix some problems that people can't. So, those were the things that twirled in her mind about when she listened to all the doctors, and they were saying that it wasn't much that they can do for her, and it was bad for her. But it says that in Mark 5, chapter 5, 27 and 28, it talks about how her desperation became her determination. You see what I'm saying? Her desperation, she was desperate to get this fixed. She was desperate. She wanted everything to be back whole again and normal. But the issue, no one can figure it out. So it became a real bad issue for her. So she heard about Jesus coming to the town. And you know what I'm saying? She heard about Jesus coming to the town, but still her conditions didn't allow her. She couldn't really come out. She couldn't touch no one. And, it was bad. It was all bad for her. You know what I'm saying? It was so much that she couldn't do, but she heard that Jesus was coming to town, and she heard about all the things that Jesus had done miraculously, healing the sick and bringing back the dead, and all those miracles that he done. And she heard he was coming to town, and she said that, listen. It all started in her mind, right? Mindset shift. It all started in her mind. Because when she heard Jesus was coming, she knew all about what Jesus had done, and she knew he was coming. It started in her mind. She said within herself, she said this to herself. She say, "Oh, if I may touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made whole." Right? Her desperation turned into determination because her mindset shifted, and it told her, if only I can touch the hem of his garment, if I could just to touch it, I know I'll be made whole. Right? So she didn't want a crowd. She didn't want people noticing her because everybody knew her. Everybody knew what her ailment was, and how she was labeled unclean and things like that. So guess what, y'all? She had to get low. She got low. Right? While everybody was touching, everybody was up, standing on their feet, touching Jesus, she had to get low. She pushed through the crowd. Even though she wasn't supposed to touch anyone, she pushed through the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, her mind state said if she can only touch the hem of his garment, right? The key revelation to that is the breakthrough often begins internally. So it all started in her mind when she said, if I only can touch the hem of his garment, I know. She didn't have no doubt. She wasn't listening to no doctors. She had to tune out And sometimes that's what we got to do in life. We have to tune out of the social media. We got to tune out of what people saying. We got to tune out of the society, what society is saying. And we have to lock in. We have to mindset shift, right? So it all started internally. So she wasn't looking for attention. She wasn't looking for conversation or ceremony. She was just looking for a touch. She knew that's what it was going to take. And in Mark chapter 5, 29 through 30, it talks about how her touch was different, right? The moment she pushed through, she got low. She went through the crowd. She went low. While everybody went high, she went low because she knew that it was her determination. She had to touch Jesus. That was the determination. She had to touch Jesus. And she knew standing up, people was going to try to block her because they knew who she was. So she knew that she had to creep in. She had to get low. And she had to touch the hem of his garment, right? So she went through, she got low, she creeped on in, and she touched the hem of his garment. And she instantly felt healing in her body. But guess what? Jesus immediately sensed that someone touched him. Now, now check this out. It was many people there touching Jesus. It was so many people sitting there touching Jesus. But when she touched Jesus, a power left his body, and he knew that this was a different kind of touch. Everybody else was touching, they heard the miraculous thing. Just like you want to touch a famous person. Oh my God. If you could have touched Michael Jackson back then. Oh my God. You see people, they touch Michael Jackson and they faint because they had the opportunity to touch a legend, to touch a star. Any star you touch. Oh my God. I shook his hand. Oh my God. I touched this person. Right. And that was what all the people was doing. They was touching Jesus, but this one touch, he knew that this was a different kind of touch. This was a touch of faith. This was a touch of faith. And he knew that this was a touch of faith. So this teaches you that you could be around Jesus and still miss him. The crowd touched out of habit, but she touched out of expectation. And there was the faith, because when all else failed, when all the money ran out and she couldn't get no one else to help her, she knew that if I could only touch him, then everything will be made whole. So when she touched him with expectation. And faith places a demand on heaven. Real faith places a demand on heaven. So her real faith, and when she touched Jesus, that would place a demand on heaven. And he turned around. He was like, wait a minute. He said, who touched me? The disciples, they couldn't even understand. They was like, Jesus, he wasn't looking for information. He was creating a moment of transformation, right? Because he knew who touched him. He knew the woman. And when he got that touch, he knew what that touch was about. That was a touch of pure faith. And when he asked his disciples who touched him, he knew who touched him. He just wanted to bring her to the forefront because she wanted to creep away silently. And she would have did that. She would have creeped away silently because regardless of what, with her faith, when she was touched, she instantly felt healed. Right? But Jesus wanted to give a moment of transformation for this woman. So the meaning of that is God won't let your testimony hide. When God heals you, he reveals you. He don't do it to embarrass you. He do it to redeem the years that you had lost dealing with what you were dealing with. So even though she was healed, she still felt a little ashamed of what she had became and where she come. So she was trying to slip away, and Jesus wasn't doing that. So her confession to Jesus, once he pulled her to the side and said, pulled her up and said, tell me your story. So she came to him trembling, and she told him the whole truth about what was going on. Jesus responded, daughter, your faith has made you whole. So go in peace. So you have to notice in the scripture that he called her daughter, right? Regardless of, all the people that was touching her, I said he felt that touch. He knew what that touch was about. He called her daughter. And what he did was he restored her identity, because she was lost because everything that was going on with her. So he restored her identity. He didn't just heal the bleeding. He healed the years of shame, isolation, fear, and emotional pain that she went through. He released all that from her. She was healed. So this right here reveals that healing is not only physical, it is emotional and spiritual as well. Jesus restores what suffering tried to steal. Suffering tried to steal this woman's everything, right? But Jesus restored that because of her true faith. She entered the moment hidden and ashamed, but walked away seen, affirmed, and whole. It all started with that. Her mindset shifted. It all started with the mindset shift. So that is the story right there of the bleeding woman and how that ties into mindset shifting. So we summarize this by saying, we meet a woman who suffered 12 years from a life-draining, physically, emotionally, and financial condition. But the moment she shifted from desperation to determination, that's when everything changed. That's when her whole life changed. She said it within herself. It started right there in her mind. And out of everything, a lot of people nowadays, they listen to doctors, and the doctor told me that this, and the doctor told me that, and they go by that. They go by that as law. And the true believers in Jesus, they don't go for that. So her faith said, if I can only touch, skip what y'all saying. And you know what? I was stupid at the time. I spent all my money with y'all, and y'all still couldn't do nothing for me. And y'all still telling me, oh, but if you could try this, this might just work. Well, that didn't work. Well, maybe this might work. Right? But it started there. That mindset shifted. She said, you know what? I'm going to the source. He here in town. That's like a concert. When a concert hit town, you want to go see that person. You know what I'm saying? You want to see that artist. She heard Jesus was in town. He was on tour. So she said, I'm going to pull up. She said, I know I'm going to get healing from this. And guess what? It started with the faith. She said, if I could only just touch the hem of his garment. And when she did that, everything was restored. And the moral of that story right there is it all starts from the mind. And that's what we got to pay attention to, y'all. It all starts in the mind. No matter what you may be going through, you might be at a job that, consistency, you making money, but you feel like it's so much more in you that you want to do. You want to start that business. You want to start that podcast. You want to start that TV show. You want to write scripts. You want to build things, you want to build cars, you want to build airplanes, you want to build motorcycles, whatever it is you want to do. You might have that job and there's consistency there, but you know it's so much more in you, and you know that it's a lot that you can do, right? And you try to figure out ways, how can I fit this in my schedule? How can I do this and do that? And you know what they say, what you really want, you make time for. So when you're thinking about starting that business and you thinking, okay, if I could just save up a little more money, then I can start that business. You ain't doing nothing but prolonging, procrastinating. You know what I'm saying? You have to mindset shift. And when you truly do a mindset shift, everything gonna fall into play, because what you want, you gonna make time for. You gonna be what you want to see. Right? So it won't be always, oh, if I could just make a few more dollars to save up, or wait till next year. I'm gonna finish out this year doing this, and then I'm gonna start next year. All that is procrastination. And I done been there, I done done that, I done procrastinated on so much in life. You know, my people, when I was younger, I used to have big dreams. When I was a teenager and stuff, I had big dreams. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to do so much stuff. And, you know, they called me, it was a guy grew up in my grandparents' neighborhood. His name is Mark, but everybody called him Amadou. And, you know, they started calling me that because I kept, all I was saying when I was a dreamer, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So they started calling me Amadou. So as the years went past, you know, it's a lot of stuff that I set out to do that I either didn't finish, got disinterested in. And, you know, because I was still young. And even this wasn't just when I was young. This was recently, before the mindset shift. It was procrastination on a lot of things that I know I needed to get done, but it was procrastination because it was bad habits, smoking weed and doing a lot of this and doing a lot of that. It left procrastination, and what that brings is overthinking. When you overthink things, it makes things more difficult than what it really is or can be. And that is that's the first thing about procrastination. You start to overthinking it. If I could just make a couple more dollars, if I could save up the rest of this year, I might be able to start that business. And that may be true. But what's the likeliness of you starting that business after a few more months, after you save up a few more dollars? Because when it's going to never be enough. It's going to be like, I need a few more dollars. You know, I got to go in the rest of this month, and then it's this and that and the other. Next thing you know, 2-3 months pass, you still didn't start the business, and you still procrastinating, right? But it takes that mindset shift. Once you get that mindset shift truly, and you truly lock in, the time that you need to do anything you need to do is going to all fall into place, because your mind is going to make it happen. Your mind tells your body and tells everything in you what to do. Like I said before, your mind can show you good and bad at the same time. Murderers and people who do bad, you know, some people, you know how they say they was born, you know, saying they was born with bad in them. You know, like I say, your mind can have you do good and bad at the same time. Your mind can, you heard so many stories of people with promise, that people that had so much going for their life that messed their life up in a split second, because your mind can have you do good and bad at the same time. And it can not even really mean it. You know what I'm saying? You could be out somewhere and some simple, you can exchange words with somebody, and you a good person, they might be a good person. Y'all exchange words and something happened to where it changes the trajectory of your life forever. So you have to think about the mindset shift, and it's a lot that come with mindset shift. faith. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that come with it, and you have to be able to fully engage in the mindset shift. And it all starts there. It don't start nowhere else. It all starts in the mind. In the mind, so he thinketh, so it is. Right? So you want to start that business, and you want to do this, and you want to lose them extra pounds, and you want to make a certain amount of money, and you want to grow in your faith, you want to grow in your spirituality, and you want to grow with your relationship. You want your relationship to grow, and it's a lot. It all starts in the mindset shift. You know, if you're a person that have mood swings and you have attitudes where you know, anything can kind of tick you off, and you know, that's all part to switch up with all that. It all starts with a mindset shift. You know what I'm saying? Like I started out by saying, you know, I'm tired of being overweight. You know, I'm tired of being unhealthy. Sorry. I'm tired of being unhealthy. And remind you, I'm 47 years old, so I've been like this for years. Years and years. And it came to that one point where it was like, you know what? I gotta change this. You know, I went to the gym, and, you know, trying to find consistency in the gym. You go a couple days, and it's like, well, today I take off because I push hard 4 days. Then I take off. Next, you know, that one day turn into 2 days, 3 days, and next thing you know, you back out the loop again. I wanted to do something that I knew that I can probably stick with, and you know, just me moving here to South Carolina, it's still things that I want to see that I haven't seen since I've been here. And, you know, just the trails that we ride is called Swamp Rabbit Trail. It takes you from one end of the county to the next end, and you can veer off and go other parts of the trail, and it can take you into different towns and cities here and around Greenville, South Carolina. So just to ride those trails is fun, it's adventurous, and you can get out there. Like normally I ride by myself most of the time, and you know, just to clear your mind, and you ride that road, is like it just takes you from one place to the next, and you don't have to worry about traffic. It's just riding, and you know, I have fun doing that, and that's how the mindset shift took place. Like I said, it was something I never done before. So it was a lot to it. When I first started out, I can get 1 or 2 miles in, and I'm like, I'm tired, and that was it. No, 2 miles. Oh man, I'm done with that, man. 2 miles. So then it went to 3 miles. Then it went to 5 miles. Next thing you know, I ride up 5 miles, come back 5 miles. That's 10 miles. I'm like, okay, did 10 miles. I'm feeling better and better. Then I go up, let me do 2 more extra miles. Then you go back 2 miles. So now that's 24. I mean, what? Yeah, 10 and 10 or 5 and 10. That's 14. And then I said, okay, well, I did 14. Now I'm going to try to do 5 more miles. And now that's 19. You know, so it all started with a gradual shift. Next thing you know, I'm doing 25, 30 miles almost every day now. So I take a few days off here and there to kind of let my body heal, but I'm so anxious to get right back on it because you're seeing the sights, you riding, you got your earphones on, you listening to your favorite podcast, you listening to the Bible, you listening to your favorite music, whatever the case may be. You get that time of solitude, and only thing you can think about is the pedal strokes, and you thinking about clearing your mind. Nothing matters at the time when you out riding. Nothing matters. Just getting from point A to point B is so serene. You have moments of clarity, your vision, your focus, and everything. is working out. So like I said, I'm 300 and almost 350 miles in for the month. I'm pushing for 400 miles. If it was grueling to me, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have taken it this far. I'm eager to get that 400 miles in. And next month, I'm going to try to go for more. So it's all about the mind state shift. I'm losing weight. I'm becoming better with my health. My diabetes is dropping the weight. The diabetes is leaving, and everything is going. It reduces a 50% chance. Reduces the a cardiovascular disease or any kind of cardiovascular help. It reduces heart attacks. It reduces strokes. It reduces a lot. High blood pressure, hypertension, and all that stuff. It just heals. It does so much. Riding, and I know people do other exercises. When I'm out on the trail, there's people jogging, it's people rollerblading, it's people just doing so much, riding bikes and everything. That's just one form of a person know what they need for their body, and mine is cycling, because that's the best exercise with less stress on your joints. Running can lead to back problems. I tried jogging. I tried walking. The pounding, me being overweight, pounding on my joints. That wasn't good for me. So cycling helps me with range of motion. Your legs and everything is moving. It helps your core, and everything like that. It's a full body workout. Full body, because your arms is holding you up, and so it's bringing tension. Your arms is like a shock absorber, so it's working out your stomach muscles, because you got to create balance. You got to stay balanced on the bike. So it's a lot. It's a full body workout, and I love every minute of it. I done dropped so much weight already. My blood sugar is down. It's back to normal, and I feel great every time I go out and ride, but it wouldn't have happened without a mind state shift. Mindset shift. I keep saying mind state. Mindset. It wouldn't happen without a mindset shift. Right? And that led to other things dropping off. The addiction, the weed addiction. Because feeling so good, riding the oxygen from the trees and the outside, all of the pure oxygen releases the endorphins and stuff like that. The desire for smoking, it was like, dude, my lungs feel so clean. Why would I want to dirty it back up with smoking? So that helped me out, the addiction. It helped me out with the constant eating, like crazy stuff, because I get out there, I burn 1,600 calories on one ride, and it's like, dude, I don't want to mess that up with a cheeseburger or a piece of cake or something crazy. So it helped me out with that. And they say anything you can do for 21 days to become a lifestyle change. So now I'm 2 months in. I'm 2 months locked in. I'm 3 months in. Right? So there's a lifestyle change that has happened. And, I call myself, I got a title change now. I'm an endurance athlete. Even though I haven't reached my goals of everywhere that I want to be, I am an endurance athlete. I train for endurance. You know what I'm saying? You got your different zones as it relates to cycling or anything that's high in cardio. You got your different zones for your heartbeats per minute, your BPM. Zone 1 might be 90 to 110 BPM. Zone 2 is 115 to 130. And zone 3 is like 130 to 145. And zone 4 is like 160 on your BPM. That's when you really getting that burn in, depending on what zone you in. So I like to keep myself between a zone 2 and zone 3 when I'm riding and it burns a lot, and it helps with my calorie burn, and I be sweating. I be feeling good. When I come off that ride, man, I be feeling so good. And my clothes fitting better. And I had back issues. Now a lot of my back issues are starting to go away because I'm working on my core. My core and everything is coming together. I'm losing that food belly. You know, I always, that was a part that was hurting my back. You know, my belly was big and I was more of a solid type person. I wasn't like, blubbery and, you know, all that. I was always a little more solid wise. So my weight didn't always seem like what it really was. You know, I didn't look 383 pounds. I just looked big, like, and, you know, partly solid, but my stomach was big. So I'm starting to lose the stomach. It's starting to go in. So that's making my posture better. My back is becoming straight. I'm losing the back issues, the tingling in my legs and all that stuff. A lot of that stuff is going away with that range of motion training. So it's all around great for me and I enjoy it. But like I said, it all started with a mindset shift. So whatever you want to do, you have to first get in your mind that this has to happen. Even if you have to repeat it. Once you repeat it, your mind is going to register it and it's going to set your mind in motion to achieve what you keep saying you're going to do. I'm going to get down to 240 pounds. That's my goal weight right now. 240 pounds. And my mind, I've been saying it, right? So then my mind shifts in the high gear and says, well, you keep saying this, man. What we got to do to get you there, right? And it all starts with working out. Well, let's slow down eating. Your mind is telling you all that because you keep telling your mind, I'm going to get here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then that's what begins happening when you start a mindset shift, right? You keep telling your mind, I'm going to get down to 240 pounds. Then your mind going to activate and put things in motion for these things to start happening. I started riding bikes. And when I first started riding, like I said, it was only a mile or two. But I felt like, man, if I could just keep this going, man, I'll be able to do something. I looked at a lot of videos on YouTube talking about the benefits of riding and things like that. And I just started pushing myself to go further and further and further. And I went from burning little calories to a lot of calories. I see the weight loss. I see things going. And what you vision in your mind and you look through that mirror, it has to come to fruition. That's where faith and mindset shift ties in together. Because once you believe it, it will come true. You have to believe it in your mind, and your mind will activate to make that happen. So, hey, check this out, y'all. If y'all had any value out of what I was talking about today on the Project Elevation Mindset Shift series of the Elevation podcast, not podcast, the Elevation broadcast. If y'all got anything out of this, I need y'all to like, share this with somebody else, or comment on it. You know, I love to see the comments and things like that. If it's helping anybody out, anybody got any revelation on the verse of the day where we talked about the issue of the woman with the blood issue and how her faith healed her, because she could have went and laid down after she heard everybody saying that these things can't be done, you can't heal it. But her mind state said, if I could just touch Jesus' garment, I know that everything gonna be right. And that goes the same way in life. Whatever you believe, you can achieve. Right? So, hey, listen, Project Elevation, the broadcast each and every Monday at 7 p.m. live here on Facebook. The Mindset Shift series is still in effect. We're going to be doing the Mindset Shift series all the way up until the end of the year. And then the beginning of the year, we're going to be going to a new series. But these past 4 weeks has been about mindset shifting. It all starts with the mind. You can tell yourself everything. You can be a I'ma do. You can say I'ma do this, I'ma do that, and none of that means nothing until you start a mindset shift. And once you start that mindset shift, your mind will elevate. I mean, not elevate. Your mind will activate. And once you start saying it, you believe it in yourself, you creating the faith, and that puts a demand on heaven. Right? That puts a demand on it. Once you show all that faith, like, I gotta lose the weight. There's no other alternative. I have to build a better life, better, healthy life. I have to. Right? And I got the faith that long as I stay in my word, long as I pray, long as I keep building my relationship with the Lord, that puts a demand on heaven. It has to happen. That's God's promise. It has to happen. Right? So I keep rolling, keep doing what I got to do. As my faith builds, I'm being what I want to see. And right now, like I said, I'm an endurance athlete, y'all. When y'all catch me in the street, y'all see me anywhere, I'm an endurance athlete. Treat me as such. I'm an athlete. I ain't no little fat boy no more. I'm an endurance athlete. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Anybody want to get with me on riding here in Greenville, South Carolina? We can get together. We can ride. We could do whatever. It's about mind state shifting. Anybody want to get together and, all offline and inbox me? You want to talk about some things? You want to talk about mindset shifting and some of the things that help me. Like, I'm still in my journey. So, I still have a lot that I'm trying to accomplish. I still got some bad habits I'm still working out, but it's still a work in progress. And having a mindset shift is what is helping me to achieve my goals. So, yay, listen, until next time, next Monday at 7 p.m. where we talk about something else that got to do with mindset shifting. Until next time, listen, I love y'all. Like, subscribe to this channel, and we going to be doing more and more each and every week. Like I say, mindset shift series up until the end of the year and the beginning of the year. We're going to start with something, starting out the new year, something more powerful, something that's going to help with the project elevation, mindset shifting, elevating to the next level, more everything, more Jesus, more word, more prayer, and more elevation. Till next time, I love y'all. See y'all. Project Elevation. Let's go.